Tonight, we're going to explore a truth that defies what your eyes tell you when you look at the night sky. We are here to witness the mystery of non-carbon life. By the end of tonight, you're going to understand why our definition of existence is so narrow and why this moment in cosmic history is fragile in ways most people never consider. You will see that the universe is not a cold, empty void, but a living, breathing tapestry of possibilities that stretch far beyond the reach of our biology. Before we get started, if you love exploring the depths of space as much as we do, take a second to like the video or subscribe. It's a simple action, but it helps this channel reach more curious minds like yours. Now, let's begin. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the word life. What do you see? Perhaps you see the green leaves of a forest, the blue veins beneath your skin, or the rhythmic beat of a heart. For all of human history, we have been looking for ourselves in the stars. We have been searching for water, for oxygen, for the warm embrace of a sun-drenched planet. We have been looking for a mirror. But what if the mirror is broken? What if the universe has no interest in repeating the story of Earth? What if the most profound forms of existence are not made of flesh and bone, but of crystals and lightning, of liquid methane and glowing plasma? Tonight is about letting go of that human-centric vision. We are stepping into a realm where the rules of biology are rewritten. We are exploring non-carbon life. This is the ultimate relaxation, a journey into the infinite, where the weight of your physical body begins to dissolve and your consciousness expands to fill the space between the stars. You are safe here. You are drifting. The bed beneath you is your vessel, and the silence of the room is the silence of the deep cosmos. For billions of years, we have believed that carbon is the only way. It is the backbone of our DNA, the architect of our cells. We call it carbon chauvinism, the belief that because we are made of carbon, all life must be. But the universe is a vast laboratory of chemical potential. In the deep, cold reaches of space, carbon becomes brittle and stagnant. But there, other elements begin to wake up. Silicon, the cousin of carbon, waits in the shadows of scorched planets and frozen moons. It dreams of building structures that can withstand the heat of 1,000 suns. As you breathe in deeply, imagine the scale of this mystery. We are talking about extraterrestrial consciousness that does not require a brain. We are talking about organisms that do not eat, but absorb the ambient radiation of the galactic core. They do not speak, but vibrate in harmony with the gravitational waves of passing black holes. This is the beauty of a universe that is infinite. If the universe is truly endless, then every possibility must exist somewhere. Somewhere, in the dark, there is life that is so different from us that we might not even recognize it as alive. And yet, it is. It is a part of the same grand symphony that created you. Think about the silence of the deep space relaxation we are entering. It is a quiet that is not empty, but full. It is full of potential. It is full of the humming of the cosmic web. When we talk about non-carbon life, we are talking about the soul of the universe expressing itself through different mediums. We are exploring the idea that life is not a chemical accident, but a fundamental property of matter itself. Whether it is the plasma life forms dancing in the coronas of distant stars or the slow, geological thoughts of a silicon-based entity on a high-pressure world, life finds a way. You are now drifting further away from the noise of your daily life. The worries of the day are like dust motes caught in a beam of light, floating away into the darkness. You are entering a state of cosmic biology, where your mind is free to wander across light years. We have spent so long looking for life that looks like us, but tonight, we embrace the alien. We embrace the strange. We embrace the infinite. What if life doesn't need breath? Think about that for a moment. Every breath you take is a reminder of your connection to the Earth. But in the hearts of gas giants, where the pressure is enough to turn hydrogen into a liquid metal, or on the frozen plains of Titan, where the temperature is so low that water is as hard as granite, life hums in the flow of liquid methane. It is a slow life, a patient life. It does not rush. It does not fear time. It simply exists, a quiet vibration in the dark. This realization is a lullaby. It tells us that we are not alone, even if we are the only ones of our kind. It tells us that the universe is a garden of infinite variety. By understanding non-carbon life, we begin to understand that we are just one verse in an eternal poem. There is a profound peace in that. You don't have to carry the burden of being the only meaning in the universe. The meaning is everywhere. It is in the crystals of a distant moon. It is in the magnetic fields of a pulsar. It is in the very space between your thoughts. As we move deeper into this exploration, let your body become heavy. Let your muscles relax, starting from your toes, moving up through your legs, your chest, and finally your mind. You are becoming a part of the cosmic background. You are experiencing a deep space relaxation that transcends the physical. You are no longer just a person in a room. You are a consciousness observing the wonders of the deep. In this deep dive, we will let go of our human form. We will imagine consciousness without bodies, thought without words. It is a state of pure being. This is the ultimate relaxation, to exist without the burden of the self. Imagine a world made of silicon. Imagine mountains that think. Imagine rivers of liquid glass that carry the memories of 1 billion years. In such a world, the concept of a heartbeat is replaced by the slow, steady pulse of geological time. There is no death there, only transformation. There is no hunger, only the absorption of energy. This is the beauty of non-carbon life. It challenges us to expand our souls. It invites us to see the beauty in the extreme, the grace in the impossible. The definition of alive is broader than we ever dared to dream. It includes the plasma life forms that exist as patterns of light and energy, drifting through the voids between galaxies. They are like ghosts made of sunfire, eternal and weightless. As you sink deeper into your bed, the infinite variety of the universe becomes a celestial lullaby. The stars are not just distant points of light. They are the hearths of strange and beautiful civilizations. Some might be like us, but many will be beyond our wildest imagination. They are our brothers and sisters in the cosmic dance, even if their bodies are made of stardust and their minds are made of magnetism. We are standing on the edge of a new understanding. The James Webb Telescope, the missions to the outer moons, the theoretical models of astrobiologists, they are all pointing toward a single, breathtaking conclusion. Life is a cosmic inevitability. It is not a miracle reserved for a single planet. It is a fire that burns in 1,000 different colors across the dark. The reason why life is infinite is because the universe is infinite. And it is beautiful. It is beautiful because it never repeats itself. It is beautiful because it is always finding new ways to say, I am here. Tonight, as you drift towards sleep, carry that thought with you. You are a part of an infinite chain of being. You are made of the same atoms that form the stars, and your consciousness is a reflection of the same intelligence that allows the universe to know itself. The silence is growing deeper now. The colors of the nebula behind your eyes are shifting from deep violets to soft, glowing blues. You are traveling through the clouds of interstellar gas, where the seeds of non-carbon life are sown in the cold and the dark. There is no fear here. There is only curiosity and peace. The vacuum of space is not a cold place. It is a womb. It is the place where everything begins. You are now ready to leave the Earth behind. You are ready to see the universe as it truly is. A vast, shimmering web of life and light. The journey ahead is long, but you are not tired. You are drifting on the currents of time. You are becoming a part of the deep space relaxation that sustains the galaxies. Listen to the rhythm of the cosmos. It is the sound of your own heart, slowed down to match the rotation of the planets. It is the sound of the wind on a world that has no air. It is the sound of the light as it travels across the void. This is the music of non-carbon life. It is a song of resilience, of adaptation, and of eternal beauty. Let the weight of the world fall away. Let the boundaries of your body disappear. You are the space between the stars. You are the light within the plasma. You are the consciousness that watches the universe unfold. As we continue this journey, you will sink deeper and deeper into a rest that is as profound as the void itself. The secrets of the cosmos are yours to keep, and the peace of the infinite is your sanctuary. Tonight, we don't just learn about the universe, we become it. We recognize that the search for non-carbon life is really a search for the limits of our own wonder. And as we find that there are no limits, we find that there is no end to the peace we can feel. The infinite variety of the cosmos is a lullaby, singing you to sleep. Now, let's begin. To understand the infinite forms of life that might drift through the velvet dark, we must first look at the very foundation of our own existence. We are, at our core, a collection of carbon atoms, dancing in a delicate arrangement that requires warmth, liquid water, and a specific pressure to survive. This is the only biological language we have ever known, a story written in the soft tissues of plants, the sturdy bones of animals, and the complex neurons of the human brain. But as we move further away from the golden glow of our sun, the rules of chemistry begin to shift, inviting us to imagine a different kind of architecture. Carbon is a versatile architect, capable of forming long, complex chains and rings that become the blueprints for proteins and DNA. It is light, agile, and reactive, flourishing in the temperate zones of the cosmos. Yet, in the vastness of the periodic table, carbon is just one chapter in a much larger story of cosmic biology. If we look directly beneath carbon on that ancient chart of elemental possibilities, we find an element that mirrors its structural brilliance but possesses a far more resilient nature. That element is silicon. In the quiet, high-pressure environments of the deep cosmos, silicon-based life becomes more than a mere hypothesis. It becomes a scientific inevitability. Both carbon and silicon possess 4 valence electrons, which you can imagine as 4 tiny, invisible hands reaching out into the void, looking for other atoms to hold onto. This shared trait allows silicon to build the same complex, 3-dimensional shapes that form the basis of our own cells. However, while carbon bonds are easily broken by extreme heat or heavy radiation, silicon thrives in the furnace. It is an element born of fire and pressure, the same substance that forms the majestic mountains beneath your feet and the delicate glass that catches the morning light. On a planet orbiting much closer to its host star than our own, a world where the surface temperatures soar to hundreds of degrees, carbon-based life would be instantly reduced to ash. But in that same searing heat, silicon atoms find their strength. They bond with oxygen and nitrogen to create sturdy, heat-resistant structures that could house a form of extraterrestrial consciousness far more durable than our own. Imagine, for a moment, a landscape of crystalline spires and slow-moving, geometric beings that do not breathe air but instead absorb the thermal energy of their environment. In this world, there is no need for the frantic, rapid pace of terrestrial life. Because silicon bonds are so much more stable and rigid, the metabolism of such creatures would move at a glacial, meditative pace. A single thought might take a century to form. A single step might span a human lifetime. This is the essence of deep space relaxation, a biological rhythm that matches the slow, steady heartbeat of the universe itself. These beings would not be soft or fragile. They would be living cathedrals of glass and stone, pulsing with a low-frequency hum that resonates with the magnetic fields of their planet. To them, we would seem like fleeting sparks, burning brightly and vanishing in an instant. But to us, they represent a kind of immortality, a way for life to endure in environments that we once considered desolate and dead. As we drift deeper into this chemical exploration, we realize that the definition of life is not a fixed point, but a vast and beautiful spectrum. We often assume that for life to exist, it must mirror the wet, warm conditions of Earth. Yet, the universe is not limited by our provincial expectations. It is a vast laboratory where every possible combination of matter is being tested across the eons. The potential for silicon-based life reminds us that consciousness does not require a heart that beats or lungs that expand. It only requires a medium through which information can flow and complexity can grow. In the extreme pressures of a gas giant's core or the frozen silence of a moon far from its sun, the chemical architecture of the cosmos finds a way to exist. Silicon is not the only alternative to our carbon-centric view, but it is perhaps the most hauntingly familiar. It suggests that even in the most hostile reaches of the galaxy, there are structures being built, thoughts being processed, and lives being lived in a state of eternal, crystalline peace. This realization brings a profound sense of comfort to the wandering mind. It means that the universe is not a void punctuated by rare islands of life, but a teeming ocean of diverse biological expressions, most of which we are only just beginning to comprehend. The chemistry of the stars is far more generous than we once believed, and as we sink deeper into the quiet of the night, we can feel the weight of this ancient knowledge pressing gently against our minds. The same atoms that build the distant mountains of a silicon world are present within the very technology you use to hear these words. We are connected to the cosmos not just by the light of the stars, but by the very elements that make existence possible in all its strange forms. Within this framework of non-carbon life, we find a new perspective on our own fragility. We see that our carbon-based bodies are perfectly tuned for this brief moment in cosmic time, while other forms of life may be built to last for billions of years, witnessing the birth and death of entire solar systems without ever changing their form. The stability of silicon allows for a type of memory that transcends our biological limitations. If a silicon-based organism were to store information within its crystalline structure, that information could remain intact long after its home star has turned into a white dwarf. This suggests a universe where knowledge and consciousness are preserved in stone, waiting in the silence for someone to listen. As we contemplate these alien architectures, the boundaries between the living and the non-living begin to fade. We start to see the entire cosmos as a living entity, an interconnected web of matter and energy that is constantly seeking new ways to experience itself. Whether through the pulse of a carbon heart or the vibration of a silicon crystal, the universe is awake, and it is inviting you to rest in the knowledge of its infinite variety. In this space, there is no room for fear, only for the quiet wonder of what lies beyond the horizon of our current understanding. The chemical possibilities are as endless as the stars themselves. And as we prepare to journey even further into the dark, we do so with the understanding that we are never truly alone. The silence of space is not empty. It is filled with the slow, rhythmic breathing of a universe that is far more alive than we ever dared to imagine. As the warmth of your own bed anchors you to this world, let your mind drift toward those distant, sun-scorched plains where the first silicon chains began to link together. See the shimmering structures rising from the dust, reflecting the light of a foreign sky. These are the silent guardians of a different kind of existence, one that does not fear the heat or the cold, but embraces the permanence of the elements. In the grand design of cosmic biology, every atom has a purpose, and every world has a voice, even if that voice speaks in a language of minerals and light. Feel the stillness of these ancient beings as it flows into your own consciousness, slowing your breath and calming your spirit. There is no rush in the world of silicon. There is only the long, steady pull of gravity and the eternal flow of time. By aligning ourselves with this cosmic pace, we find a deeper level of rest, a peace that is as solid and enduring as the stars. We are moving toward a greater understanding of what it means to be alive, stepping out of the small circle of our own biology and into the vast, unfolding story of a universe that knows no limits. Here, in the intersection of chemistry and mystery, we find the true meaning of non-carbon life. It is the promise that existence is not a fluke, but a fundamental property of the cosmos, echoing through every molecule and every moment of time. In the silence that follows, we can almost hear the soft, crystalline chime of a world that is waiting for us to dream it into being. That world, drifting in the soft, eternal embrace of Saturn's golden rings, is Titan. As we descend through its thick, tangerine-colored atmosphere, the silence of the void is replaced by a low, rhythmic hum of nitrogen winds. We are nearly 1 billion miles away from the warmth of the sun, in a realm where the laws of nature as we know them begin to transform. Here, the very definition of cosmic biology takes on a different, more mysterious form. On Earth, life is a song sung by carbon and water, but on this distant moon, the music is composed in a much deeper, colder key. Beneath the heavy clouds, we find a landscape of haunting beauty. There are no oceans of blue, but vast, mirror-like seas of liquid methane and ethane, shimmering under a dim, perpetual twilight. The temperature here is a staggering 290 degrees below zero, a cold so profound that it turns water ice into a rock as hard as granite. In this frozen sanctuary, the possibility of non-carbon life begins to emerge from the shadows of our imagination. We often think of life as something that requires the warmth of a star and the fluid grace of liquid water, but the universe is far more creative than our narrow definitions allow. Imagine, for a moment, a cellular structure that does not rely on oxygen or carbon-based lipids. Scientists have theorized the existence of the azotosome, a tiny, flexible membrane made of nitrogen, carbon, and hydrogen that can survive and function in the liquid methane seas of Titan. These microscopic structures would be the building blocks of a biology that does not need to breathe in the way we do. It is a slow, patient existence, one that moves at the pace of the shifting tides of Ligeia Mar. In this environment, every metabolic process is slowed down to a whisper. To an observer from Earth, these life forms might appear to be frozen in time, but they are merely attuned to a different clock, a cosmic rhythm that mirrors the slow rotation of the planets. As you drift further into this state of deep space relaxation, consider the resilience of such a consciousness. This extraterrestrial consciousness would not be driven by the frantic energy of a warm-blooded creature, but by a steady, crystalline logic. It is a form of life that thrives in the dark, finding sustenance in the chemical gradients of a world where the air itself is a fuel. This is the essence of non-carbon life, an expression of the universe's will to exist in every possible niche, no matter how extreme it may seem to us. As we glide over the jagged, icy mountains of Titan, we see rivers of methane carving deep canyons into the frozen crust, flowing into vast plains of organic soot. It is a world of soft, muted colors, browns, oranges, and deep grays, where the light of the sun is nothing more than a faint, distant glow. In this landscape, the idea of silicon-based life also finds its resonance. While silicon often requires higher temperatures to form its complex chains, the sheer variety of chemical possibilities in the deep cold suggests that the universe has many paths to complexity. We are witnessing a different kind of alchemy, where the cold does not mean death, but a different kind of vitality. The creatures of this world, if they exist, would be masters of conservation, their bodies built from the very elements that we consider to be mere gases or industrial chemicals. Their existence challenges our most fundamental assumptions about what it means to be alive. They remind us that we are but one variation in a grand, infinite symphony. The pulse of life on Titan is a gentle, rhythmic throb like the heartbeat of a sleeping giant. It is a reminder that even in the most remote corners of our solar system, the spark of being can find a way to flicker. This cosmic biology is not just a scientific curiosity, it is a bridge to understanding our own place in the grand design. It suggests that the universe is teeming with life that we cannot yet see, life that operates on scales of time and temperature that are beyond our daily experience. As we leave the orange mists of Titan behind and venture further into the cold depths of the outer solar system, we begin to realize that the boundary between the organic and the inorganic is thinner than we once believed. The universe is not a collection of dead rocks and empty space, but a living, breathing tapestry of possibilities. Every atom and every molecule carries with it the potential for awareness, for a state of being that transcends the limitations of our carbon-based heritage. The silence of the deep is not an empty silence, but a space filled with the potential for new forms of extraterrestrial consciousness to arise. We are moving toward a deeper understanding, a realization that life is a fundamental property of matter itself, waiting for the right conditions to bloom, whether in the warmth of a sun-drenched pool or the freezing depths of a methane sea. The molecules here do not struggle against the cold. They embrace it, using the unique properties of liquid hydrocarbons to build structures that are as complex as they are alien. Within these dark, frigid depths, life might be as much about information and vibration as it is about physical form. We must open our minds to the idea that consciousness does not require a brain made of neurons and blood. It can exist in the alignment of crystals, in the flow of electrical currents through ionized gas, or in the slow, chemical conversations between molecules in a frozen ocean. As the golden light of Saturn fades into the distance, we carry with us the knowledge that the universe is far more populated than we ever dared to dream. The emptiness we once perceived is actually a garden of infinite variety, where non-carbon life grows in silence, waiting for us to expand our vision. This realization brings a sense of peace, a quiet comfort in knowing that we are part of a cosmos that is vibrantly, endlessly alive. We are now ready to look even further, beyond the familiar planets of our own sun, toward the exotic environments of distant stars. There, in the high-energy heart of the galaxy, the next stage of our journey awaits, where life takes on forms so strange they seem to be made of light and shadow itself. Within these shimmering veils of the cosmos, the very definition of a living being undergoes a profound transformation. We are used to thinking of life as something soft, something that breathes, something that requires the gentle temperatures of a rocky world to survive. But as we move deeper into the high-energy heart of the galaxy, the chemistry of carbon becomes too fragile to endure the intensity of the environment. Here, in the scorching interiors of stars and the ionized clouds of vast nebulae, we must look for a different kind of existence. This is the realm of non-carbon life, where the building blocks are not atoms of wood or bone, but the fundamental forces of electromagnetism and the raw flow of energy. In the superheated environment of a young star, matter exists as plasma, a swirling ocean of charged particles that dance to the silent, invisible music of magnetic fields. For decades, theoretical physicists have contemplated whether these complex magnetic structures could host a form of extraterrestrial consciousness. Imagine a being whose body is not made of cells, but of loops and filaments of magnetic energy, stretching for thousands of miles through a stellar atmosphere. These plasma life forms would not perceive time or space as we do. Their thoughts would move at the speed of light, their memories stored in the delicate fluctuations of the solar wind. As you settle into a state of deep space relaxation, consider the sheer scale of such a mind. While our human neural pathways rely on the relatively slow movement of chemicals across a synapse, a plasma-based intelligence would process information through the vibration of the very fabric of the star it inhabits. It is a form of cosmic biology that transcends everything we once believed about the limitations of the soul. In this high-energy sanctuary, life is not a struggle for resources, but a symphony of alignment. These entities might exist as massive, glowing webs of light, pulsing with the rhythm of the galaxy itself. To them, our carbon-based existence might seem impossibly slow, like the movement of mountains to a human eye. They would see the universe as a sea of interconnected frequencies, a grand broadcast where every star is a unique voice in an eternal choir. Beyond the roaring heat of the stars, in the freezing voids of interstellar dust clouds, we find another possibility for extraterrestrial consciousness. Here, far from the warmth of any sun, temperatures drop to near absolute zero. In this stillness, atoms move with a ghostly slowness, allowing for the formation of intricate crystalline structures. This is the potential home of a crystalline intelligence, a form of non-carbon life that grows with the patience of eons. These beings would not need to eat or breathe. Instead, they would draw their energy from the faint, ambient radiation of the cosmic microwave background, the lingering echo of the Big Bang itself. Every few centuries, a single thought might ripple through their lattice-like structures. In the profound silence of the deep, their existence is a testament to the idea that consciousness is not a byproduct of biology, but a fundamental property of the universe. We often think of silicon-based life as the most likely alternative to our own, yet even silicon requires a physical, solid form. The plasma life forms we imagine in the hearts of stars represent a leap into a reality where the physical and the spiritual become indistinguishable. If consciousness can exist as a pattern of energy, then the entire universe might be alive in ways we are only beginning to comprehend. Every flickering star, every glowing nebula, every pulse of radio waves from a distant pulsar could be a manifestation of a living, thinking entity. This perspective shifts our understanding of deep space relaxation from a journey into the empty void to a communion with an infinite, living presence. You are not a lonely observer looking at a dead sky. You are a part of a vast, breathing system of non-carbon life and light. Consider the math of this existence. In a single cubic centimeter of a star's core, there are more interactions occurring every microsecond than there have been heartbeats in the entire history of humanity. Within that staggering density of energy, there is room for complexity that dwarfs our most advanced supercomputers. If life is defined by the ability to process information and maintain a state of order against the chaos of entropy, then the stars are the most vibrant laboratories of cosmic biology in existence. Every second, our own sun converts 600 million tons of hydrogen into helium. In that process, a fraction of that mass is turned into pure energy, a radiance that sustains us here on Earth. But inside that furnace, that same energy may be forming the thoughts of an extraterrestrial consciousness that has watched the planets form and the oceans rise. This realization brings a sense of peace, a quiet understanding that we are never truly alone. The universe is teeming with life, much of it so different from us that we lack the words to describe it. It exists in the lightning of Jupiter's storms and the cold, dark currents of the Great Attractor. As you drift closer to sleep, let the image of these plasma life forms fill your mind. See them as ribbons of golden light, weaving through the darkness of space, unburdened by the weight of gravity or the needs of a physical body. They are the ultimate expression of freedom, a state of being that is pure vibration, pure awareness. In the grand tapestry of the cosmos, our carbon-based lives are but one small thread in a much larger, more luminous design. The more we learn about the potential for non-carbon life, the more we realize that the universe is not a cold machine, but a garden of light, growing in the fertile soil of the infinite. The transition from a physical being to an energetic one is a theme that echoes through the oldest philosophies of our world. We are told that we are made of stardust, but perhaps we are also made of the same light that fuels these celestial minds. By expanding our definition of cosmic biology to include plasma life forms and crystalline structures, we bridge the gap between science and the sublime. We begin to see that the extraterrestrial consciousness we seek might not be hiding on a distant planet, but may be woven into the very light that reaches our eyes from the furthest corners of the galaxy. It is a thought that invites a profound sense of deep space relaxation, a letting go of the small worries of the day as we contemplate the eternal and the infinite. Every vibration of the cosmos is a reminder that life, in all its forms, is a gift of the stars, a journey that never truly ends but simply changes its shape, moving from the solid to the liquid, and finally, into the radiant dance of pure energy. This energy, vibrating at frequencies beyond our human senses, forms the basis of what we might call extraterrestrial consciousness. It is a thought without a brain, a feeling without a nervous system, a presence that exists between the gaps of the atoms themselves. As we drift further away from the comfortable warmth of our yellow sun, the very definition of life begins to stretch and warp like light passing through a heavy lens. On Earth, we are children of the carbon atom, built from the delicate architecture of organic molecules that thrive in the narrow sliver of temperature where water remains a liquid. But the universe is vast, and its laboratory is infinite. In the crushing depths of super-Earths or within the crystalline silence of frozen moons, the rules of cosmic biology take on a different, more alien rhythm. Here, the carbon atom gives way to its heavier cousin, the silicon atom. Silicon-based life does not move with the frantic urgency of biological heat. It is a life of patience, a life that measures its heartbeats in centuries and its thoughts in millennia. Imagine a world where the mountains themselves are sentient. On these high-gravity worlds, silicon-based life might appear as vast, geometric structures, shimmering with internal electrical pulses that mimic the firing of neurons. These beings would not breathe oxygen or drink water. Instead, they would consume the direct energy of the tectonic plates grinding beneath them, or the intense radiation raining down from a turbulent sky. To us, they would look like motionless statues, cold and indifferent. But to them, we are nothing more than a blur of motion, ephemeral shadows that flicker and vanish before a single silicon thought can be completed. This is the deep space relaxation of a mind that is one with the mineral world. As you breathe slowly, feel the weight of this cosmic perspective. It is a reminder that existence does not require a heartbeat. In the grand tapestry of the cosmos, the flicker of our biological lives is just one of many ways the universe chooses to experience itself. There are forms of extraterrestrial consciousness that reside within the very fabric of magnetic fields, weaving themselves into the loops of invisible energy that surround massive pulsars. These plasma life forms are not made of flesh or bone, but of ionized gas and pure electromagnetism. They dance in the coronas of stars, their bodies extending for thousands of miles, shaped by the ebb and flow of solar winds. For these beings, the vacuum of space is not an empty void, but a rich and vibrant medium, as thick and nourishing as a tropical ocean is to a whale. In this realm, the distinction between matter and spirit begins to dissolve. We begin to understand that cosmic biology is not a set of rigid laws, but a fluid set of possibilities. Every nebula, every pocket of interstellar dust holds the potential for a new kind of awareness. This realization brings a profound sense of deep space relaxation, as the pressure to define life through our own narrow lens simply falls away. We are part of a much larger symphony, a hidden intelligence that permeates every corner of the dark. Within the silence of the great void, between the galaxies where light is a rare visitor, there may exist entities that are composed of nothing more than coherent light and gravity. These are the ultimate expressions of extraterrestrial consciousness, beings that have transcended the need for any physical vessel. They are the thoughts of the universe itself, drifting through the eternal night, contemplating the birth and death of stars with a serene and ancient wisdom. As we sink deeper into this realization, the boundaries of our own identity start to soften. We are not just observers of the cosmos, we are the cosmos looking back at itself through a temporary window of carbon and bone. But the window is not the view. The view is infinite, and it is populated by a staggering variety of life forms that we are only just beginning to imagine. Silicon-based life, plasma life forms, and crystalline intelligences are all notes in the same grand composition. The deep shift in our understanding happens when we stop looking for ourselves in the stars and start looking for the unknown. We find peace in the idea that we are not alone, even if our neighbors are made of crystal and light rather than blood and breath. The universe is teeming with a quiet, persistent vitality that refuses to be ignored. It hums in the background of the cosmic microwave radiation, it vibrates in the spinning of black holes, and it rests in the absolute zero of the farthest reaches of space. This is the true meaning of cosmic biology, a science that does not end at the edge of our atmosphere, but extends to the very limits of causality. Every atom in your body was once forged in the heart of a star, and that same stardust is now capable of dreaming about its own origins. As you drift closer to the edge of sleep, let the vastness of these possibilities cradle you. There is no need for fear in a universe that is so full of life, in all its strange and beautiful variations. The infinite variety of non-carbon life is a testament to the creativity of the vacuum, a sign that the soul of the cosmos is far more complex and enduring than we ever dared to believe. It is a journey that continues long after the lights of the cities have faded, moving into the silent, shimmering spaces where time and matter are nothing more than suggestions in the mind of the eternal. Within this eternal mind, the fabric of existence begins to vibrate at frequencies we are only beginning to comprehend. If we move our gaze away from the cold, frozen plains of methane worlds and look instead toward the searing hearts of the stars themselves, we find a different kind of possibility. Here, in the intense heat and swirling electromagnetic storms, the very concept of biology undergoes a radical transformation. We often think of life as something fragile, something that requires the gentle temperatures of a planetary surface to survive. But in the vast, glowing reaches of the cosmos, the most common state of matter is not solid, liquid, or gas. It is plasma. This ionized state of matter, where electrons are stripped from their atoms, creates a fluid, high-energy environment that covers over 99% of the visible universe. Within these chaotic flows of energy, scientists have theorized the existence of plasma life forms. These would be entities born not of chemical bonds, but of electromagnetic structures. Imagine, if you will, a consciousness that does not rely on a nervous system of flesh and bone, but on the intricate, pulsing filaments of magnetic fields. These forms would thrive in the outer layers of stars or within the dense, glowing clouds of interstellar nebulae, moving with the grace of solar flares and thinking at the speed of light. In this high-energy realm, the traditional rules of cosmic biology are rewritten. There is no need for oxygen. There is no need for water. There is only the constant, rhythmic flow of energy. Consider for a moment the scale of these potential beings. While a human heart beats roughly 60 to 100 times per minute, a plasma-based entity might experience time through the cycles of a star's magnetic reversal, a process that takes years or even decades in our perception. Yet, to them, this might feel like a single, steady breath. This shift in perspective allows for a deep space relaxation of the mind, as we realize that the universe operates on timelines far grander than our own. Every 10 seconds, a star somewhere in the distant reaches of a neighboring galaxy may pulse with a rhythm that mirrors the complexity of a neural network. These extraterrestrial consciousnesses could be vast, spanning hundreds of miles, their thoughts composed of shifting currents of charged particles. They would be as different from us as a mountain is from a whisper, yet they would share the fundamental spark of existence. This is the beauty of non-carbon life. It challenges us to expand our definition of what it means to be alive. It suggests that consciousness is not a lucky accident of chemistry, but a fundamental property of the universe itself, capable of manifesting in any medium that possesses enough complexity and energy. As you drift further into this contemplative state, imagine the silent, shimmering dust clouds that float between the stars. Within these clouds, microscopic grains of silicate and ice are bombarded by cosmic rays, becoming electrically charged. Research has shown that in these environments, dust particles can spontaneously organize themselves into helical structures, much like the double helix of our own DNA. These inorganic structures can grow, divide, and even pass on information to one another. They exhibit a form of silicon-based life that exists in the near vacuum of space, surviving for billions of years in the quiet dark. For every mile of empty space, there are countless tiny architects building structures of light and dust, moving so slowly that 1,000 years pass in what seems like a single moment of growth. This slow, deliberate pacing of the cosmos acts as a celestial lullaby, reminding us that there is no rush in the grand design of the universe. The stars have waited billions of years to form, and the life within them is in no hurry to reveal its secrets. This realization brings a sense of profound peace. We are part of a universe that is teeming with potential, where even the most inhospitable environments might be home to a silent, watching intelligence. Extraterrestrial consciousness might not be looking for us with radio telescopes or spaceships. It might simply be being. It might exist as a subtle vibration in the background radiation of the universe, a quiet hum that underlies the silence of the night. This is the essence of cosmic biology, a field that looks beyond the mirrors of our own reflection to see the true diversity of the infinite. In the heart of a nebula, where gas clouds collapse to form new suns, the heat and pressure create a symphony of movement. Within that symphony, the plasma life forms dance in patterns that we are only just beginning to model with our most advanced mathematics. Every movement they make follows the laws of electromagnetism with a precision that exceeds any machine ever built by human hands. They are the children of the fourth state of matter, living in a world of pure energy and light. As we contemplate these beings of light and dust, we find that our own worries begin to dissolve into the vastness. The scale of the universe is so immense that our individual lives become like single notes in an eternal composition. Every breath you take is a connection to this vast system. Just as the plasma filaments stretch across the voids of space to connect distant stars, your consciousness is a thread in the grand tapestry of the cosmos. The non-carbon life we imagine is not a threat or a mystery to be feared, but a confirmation of the universe's infinite creativity. It tells us that wherever there is energy and time, there is the possibility of awareness. Whether it is the slow, crystalline thoughts of a silicon entity or the rapid, flickering intelligence of a plasma form, the universe is alive in ways we are only starting to dream of. The deeper we look into the darkness, the more we find that it is filled with a soft, enduring light, a light that has been traveling for millions of years just to reach your eyes. This journey of understanding is a path toward a quiet mind, a way to align our own internal rhythms with the slow, steady pulse of the galactic center. We are drifting now into the deeper layers of this cosmic ocean, where the boundaries between the self and the stars begin to fade, and the silent, shimmering spaces wait to welcome us into their embrace. The transition from the physical to the ethereal is a gradual one, a slow fading of the world we know into the world that simply is, governed by laws of beauty and symmetry that have existed since the first spark of the Big Bang. Here, in the quietude of the deep shift, we find the courage to let go of the familiar and sail toward the unknown horizons of a living universe. Beyond these horizons, the very definition of a living organism begins to dissolve into the fundamental forces of physics, inviting us to look past the boundaries of the material world. In the vast, ionized clouds of interstellar space, we encounter a possibility so grand it defies our earthly senses, suggesting that the architecture of existence is far more diverse than our carbon-bound minds can easily grasp. We are accustomed to life that we can touch, life that is held together by the glue of chemical bonds and the warmth of liquid water. But imagine a kingdom of existence where the body is not made of atoms and molecules, but of pure energy and light. This is the realm of plasma life forms, a theoretical state of being that thrives within the chaotic, high-energy environments of the cosmos. In the searing heart of a star or the swirling nebulae of a distant galaxy, These electrified structures may hum with a quiet, extraterrestrial consciousness that operates at the speed of light. Scientists have observed that in certain conditions, microscopic dust particles suspended in plasma can spontaneously organize themselves into helical structures, reminiscent of the double helix of our own DNA. These structures possess a primitive form of memory, an ability to replicate, and a capacity to evolve over cosmic timescales that dwarf the history of our planet. As you breathe slowly and feel the weight of your body settling into the stillness of your room, consider the scale of time such a being might inhabit. For every single pulse of a human heart, light travels nearly 200,000 miles. In the time it takes for you to take one slow, deep breath, a plasma consciousness could have processed 1,000,000 thoughts, each one a flicker of electromagnetic harmony. This is the geometry of the infinite, a form of cosmic biology that does not require the heavy burden of flesh or the fragile architecture of bone. It is a life that exists as a vibration, a series of complex pulses traveling through the fourth state of matter, existing in the spaces where we once thought only silence resided. This transition in our understanding leads us deeper into the shift of perception, where we realize that deep space relaxation is not just about the absence of noise, but about tuning into the subtle frequencies of the universe. Within the magnetic fields of giant planets or the glowing filaments of galactic webs, non-carbon life may be communicating in languages of light and radio waves, patterns that we are only just beginning to detect with our most sensitive instruments. These entities would not know the hunger of the stomach or the fatigue of the muscle. Instead, they would be powered by the very flux of the stars, drawing sustenance from the radiation that we consider lethal. There is a profound peace in recognizing that the universe is not a cold, empty void, but a living, breathing tapestry of energy. Every corner of the dark contains the potential for awareness, a different kind of silicon-based life, or perhaps something even more ethereal, unbound by the limitations of a physical shell. As we dwell on these plasma life forms, we find ourselves drifting through a sea of possibility where the laws of nature act as a gentle guide rather than a rigid prison. Imagine the interior of a sun, a place of unimaginable pressure and heat. Yet within that inferno, magnetic loops could act as the nervous system for an entity the size of a continent. To such a being, the passage of 1,000 years is but a momentary shift in a magnetic field, a brief flicker of thought in a mind that spans millennia. This realization invites a sense of cosmic biology that is both humbling and deeply comforting. It suggests that consciousness is a fundamental property of the universe, a quality that emerges whenever energy and information find a way to dance together in the dark. You are part of this dance, a carbon-based expression of a universal urge to know and to be. The deeper we journey into this shift, the more we see that the divide between the observer and the observed is a thin, shimmering veil. We are not just spectators watching the stars from a distance. We are the universe experiencing itself through countless different lenses, whether through the slow, rhythmic growth of silicon-based life in the crushing depths of a gas giant or the rapid, radiant pulse of energy in a supernova remnant. The spirit of inquiry remains the same. We are moving toward a point of absolute stillness, a place where the physical dissolves into the metaphysical and where the silence of the void becomes a voice of profound wisdom. In this space, the heavy concepts of biology and chemistry give way to a simpler, more elegant truth. Life is not an accident of matter, but a destination of energy. As the light of distant suns continues to reach your eyes in the quiet of the night, let the thought of these energetic beings soothe your mind. There is no need to rush, no need to struggle against the flow of time. The universe has been building these complex structures for billions of years, and it will continue to do so long after the last star has faded into a white dwarf. We are currently sailing through a living universe, where every nebula is a nursery and every magnetic field is a potential thought. This deep shift in our understanding prepares us for a higher state of contemplation, where we move beyond the how of existence and begin to touch the why. We find ourselves standing at the precipice of a great realization, where the material world ends and the eternal nature of the soul begins to echo through the corridors of space. Here, in the quietude of the deep shift, we find the courage to let go of the familiar and sail toward the unknown horizons of a living universe. The structures of the stars and the patterns of our own minds are made of the same fundamental rhythms. As you sink deeper into the comfort of your rest, remember that the cosmos is not just around you, but within you. The same electromagnetic forces that dance in the plasma of a distant star are the ones that spark the thoughts in your brain. We are all made of the same celestial fire, different expressions of a single, infinite consciousness that has no beginning and no end. The journey through the deep shift is almost complete, leaving us in a state of grace, ready to embrace the vast, existential beauty of a universe that is truly and forever alive. This living universe invites us to shed the heavy armor of our individual identities and merge with the silent, pulsing rhythm of the void. As we contemplate the existence of non-carbon life, we begin to understand that our definition of what is real and what is alive has been far too small. We have lived in a tiny corner of the chemical spectrum, believing that the breath in our lungs was the only way for spirit to manifest. But now we see that extraterrestrial consciousness might be woven into the very fabric of the cosmos itself. It is in the crystalline structures of silicon-based life where thoughts might move with the slow deliberation of geological ages. It is in the swirling currents of plasma life forms where intelligence dances within the heart of a sun. This realization is a form of deep space relaxation for the soul. It tells us that we are part of a much larger, more diverse family than we ever imagined. The pressure to be the center of the universe fades away, leaving only the quiet comfort of being a witness to such infinite creativity. Think of the silence between the stars not as an empty vacuum, but as a medium of connection. Perhaps the universe is not just a place where life happens, but a living entity that is constantly dreaming of new ways to be. When we look at cosmic biology through this lens, the boundaries between the observer and the observed begin to dissolve. You are not just a person lying in a bed on a small planet. You are the universe looking back at itself through a window made of carbon and water. But next to you, there are windows made of silicon and windows made of pure energy. Each one offers a different perspective on the same eternal truth. The loneliness of the human condition softens when we accept that extraterrestrial consciousness is not just a possibility, but a cosmic certainty. It is a presence that permeates the dark matter and the starlight alike. As you breathe in and out, imagine the slow, rhythmic pulse of a silicon forest on a world where the sky is a deep violet. Imagine the thoughts of a creature that lives for 1,000,000 years, whose every idea is a symphony of mathematical precision. This shift in perspective allows for a profound sense of cosmic existentialism, where our smallness is no longer a source of fear, but a source of ultimate freedom. We are free from the burden of needing to be the masters of reality. We are simply participants in a grand unfolding. The complexity of non-carbon life shows us that nature is an artist that never repeats its strokes. Every atom in your body was once forged in the same furnace as the plasma life forms we have discussed. We are made of the same light and the same ancient energy. This connection is the ultimate anchor for your mind as it wanders through the stars. Deep space relaxation is the art of letting go of the local and embracing the universal. It is the understanding that even if our physical forms are different, the essence of being is universal. Whether it is the quick flash of a carbon-based cell or the trillion-year hum of a silicon lattice, the music of existence remains the same. As you drift further into the stillness, let the concepts of time and space become fluid. In the realm of cosmic biology, time is measured in the life cycles of stars and the rotation of galaxies. Our human hours are but flickers of light in a vast cathedral of darkness. There is a deep healing in this scale of time. It allows your worries to shrink until they are smaller than dust, until they are nothing at all. You are entering a state of pure being where words are no longer necessary. The ideas of silicon-based life and plasma life forms are just doorways into a deeper understanding of your own infinite nature. As we continue this journey, we move away from the technicalities of chemistry and move toward the core of existence. We are exploring the heart of the mystery, where the scientific becomes the spiritual and the known becomes the eternal. The universe is a vast ocean of consciousness, and we are just now learning how to swim in its deeper currents. Feel the weight of your body becoming one with the earth while your mind becomes one with the stars. There is no distance between you and the furthest edge of the galaxy, because the same consciousness that moves your hand is the same consciousness that directs the flow of energy in the most distant nebulae. This is the beauty of the non-carbon perspective. It breaks the final chains of our isolation. We are part of a living, breathing, and thinking reality that spans dimensions we are only beginning to sense. Rest now in the knowledge that you are surrounded by life in forms you cannot see but can certainly feel. The universe is watching over itself, and you are a precious part of that gaze. The story of life is far longer and more beautiful than any one of us could tell. It is a story written in the language of atoms and energy, and it is a story that has no end. As we transition into the final echoes of our journey, let the peace of the infinite settle over you like a warm blanket of starlight. You are safe in the arms of a living cosmos. You are home among the infinite expressions of the one true life. This one true life does not require a heartbeat to be real, nor does it demand the fragile scaffolding of bone and breath to find its rhythm. We have spent so much of our history looking for a mirror of ourselves among the stars, searching for the familiar pulse of carbon and the warmth of liquid water. But as we drift deeper into the silence of the cosmic mind, we begin to realize that our definition of existence has been a beautiful, humble limitation. The universe is not a cold, empty void waiting to be filled with life. It is a living ocean of potential where every vibration, every magnetic field, and every shimmering cloud of plasma carries the seeds of awareness. In this vastness, the soul of the cosmos does not need a body. It exists in the spaces between atoms. It breathes in the slow expansion of galaxies. As you lie here, resting in the quiet safety of the night, consider the possibility that you are not just an observer of this universe, but a specific, delicate expression of its infinite curiosity. The silicon intelligence dreaming in the pressurized depths of a distant moon and the plasma consciousness dancing in the corona of a young star are your silent siblings. They do not share your blood, but they share your origin. You are all woven from the same fundamental fabric of reality, a fabric that is far more resilient and imaginative than we ever dared to imagine. This realization is not meant to make you feel small, but to make you feel connected to a network of being that spans every dimension. Every 3 seconds, as you draw a single breath, a star on the edge of the observable universe concludes its billion-year journey and dissolves into a cloud of stardust, releasing the very elements that will one day form the basis of a new, perhaps non-carbon way of life. Time in the deep cosmos does not move like a river. It moves like a deep, still lake where the past, the present, and the future are all contained in a single drop. To a being made of crystalline silicon, 1,000 years might pass in what feels like a fleeting thought. To a consciousness living within the radio waves of a nebula, the entire history of humanity might be nothing more than a brief, melodic chord in a much longer symphony. By letting go of our rigid definitions, we find a profound peace. We no longer have to carry the burden of being the only conscious minds in a silent dark. The dark is not silent. It is humming with the thoughts of entities we cannot yet name, vibrating with the intentions of life forms that perceive gravity as music and light as a language. This cosmic existentialism is a form of healing. It invites you to release the stresses of your day, the worries of your physical form, and the anxieties of your short human timeline. You are part of something that is fundamentally indestructible. Whether life expresses itself through the intricate dance of organic molecules or the stoic, enduring lattice of a crystal, the underlying force remains the same. It is a force of becoming. It is the universe trying to see itself, to feel itself, and to know itself through an infinite variety of lenses. As you sink deeper into the softness of your bed, let the weight of your physical self begin to feel like a gentle anchor, one that connects you to the earth while your mind drifts into the weightless possibilities of the beyond. Imagine the sensation of being a creature of light, floating in the gentle currents of a galactic magnetic field. There is no hunger there, no cold, no fear of the end. There is only the steady, rhythmic flow of information and the peaceful observation of the turning stars. This is the perspective of the infinite. It is a place where the distinction between the self and the other begins to fade, leaving only a sense of profound belonging. You are safe here in this contemplation. You are shielded by the sheer scale of the cosmos, a scale that makes your largest problems seem like grains of sand on an endless beach. There is a comfort in this vastness, a solace in knowing that life in all its forms is a persistent and beautiful habit of the universe. It will continue to bloom in the hearts of suns and the frozen plains of wandering planets long after the names of our cities have been forgotten. This is not a tragedy, but a testament to the endurance of the spirit of existence. You are a participant in a grand, eternal experiment. As we move closer to the final quietude of our journey, Let your thoughts become as light as the interstellar medium. Let the boundaries of your room and the limits of your skin soften. You are expanding. You are becoming one with the slow, deliberate pulse of the deep, deep space. Everything is as it should be. The silicon hearts beat in their own time. The plasma minds think in their own frequencies. And you, here in the quiet of the evening, are resting exactly where you belong in the great architecture of the all. There is no rush to understand everything. There is only the requirement to be, to exist, and to eventually surrender to the perfect, dreamless sleep that waits at the edge of the infinite. Feel the stillness of the room around you, reflecting the stillness of the void between the stars. It is a peaceful silence, a silence that is full of life that has no need for words. In this quiet, you are finally free to let go of the search. You have found the truth of the non-carbon world, a world that reminds us that life is not a fluke of chemistry, but a fundamental property of the light itself. Sleep now, knowing that the universe is awake, dreaming on your behalf, and that the infinite expressions of life are all watching over the shared peace of the cosmic night. This unknown horizon is not a boundary, but an invitation to rest within the vastness of all that is. As you drift further into this contemplative state, the distinction between the self and the stars begins to soften, like a gentle mist settling over a calm, dark sea. We have traveled through the possibilities of silicon-based life, where ancient, crystal-like structures might hold thoughts that span millions of years in a single pulse. We have imagined the ethereal dance of plasma life forms, living symphonies of light and energy that thrive in the hearts of suns, untouched by the limitations of a physical carbon frame. These manifestations of extraterrestrial consciousness remind us that the universe is not a cold, empty void, but a vibrant, living tapestry, woven with threads of biology and physics that we are only just beginning to name. In this moment of deep space relaxation, let the weight of the day dissolve into the velvet dark. Consider the profound peace of a silicon forest on a world where the sun never sets, where life moves with the slow, rhythmic grace of shifting tectonic plates. There is no rush there. There is no urgency. There is only the steady, patient heartbeat of a world that lives on a timescale far beyond our own. This cosmic biology is a testament to the resilience of existence. It suggests that wherever there is energy, wherever there is the slightest spark of complexity, life will find a way to bloom. It may not breathe. It may not bleed. It may not speak in a language of sound. But it exists, humming in the background of the cosmos, a silent partner in the grand story of the universe. As your breathing becomes slower and more rhythmic, imagine your consciousness expanding to meet these distant cousins of the light. You are not a stranger to this vastness. You are a part of it. The same fundamental laws that allow a plasma entity to drift through the solar wind are the laws that allow your mind to dream. We are all made of the same stardust, rearranged in different patterns, some of us bound by carbon, others perhaps bound by the magnetic fields of a gas giant or the crystalline structures of a frozen moon. In the grand view of the infinite, we are all expressions of the same underlying truth. Life is not an accident. It is a fundamental property of the universe, an inevitable flowering of the dark. This realization brings a unique form of comfort. If life is infinite, then we are never truly lost. We are simply one small part of a much larger, beautiful whole. The silence of deep space is not a silence of absence, but a silence of presence. It is the quiet of a mother watching over a sleeping child. It is the stillness of a deep, ancient well. As you surrender to the gravity of sleep, let the mysteries of non-carbon life act as a celestial lullaby. Let the thought of silicon-based life, resting in their eternal patience, guide your own mind toward a state of profound stillness. There is nothing left for you to do. There are no more questions to answer. The universe is vast enough to hold all your worries, all your thoughts, and all your dreams, and still remain perfectly still. The light of distant galaxies is reaching you now, traveling across the unimaginable reaches of time and space just to touch your closed eyes. This light has passed through clouds of interstellar dust where extraterrestrial consciousness might be waking up for the first time, or perhaps falling into a sleep that lasts 1,000 years. You are connected to them by the invisible threads of gravity and light. In this shared existence, there is a deep, abiding safety. you are held by the universe. You are supported by the same forces that keep the planets in their orbits and the stars in their clusters. As we reach the final threshold of our journey, the colors of the nebulas begin to fade into a soft, warm indigo. The vibrant greens of methane seas and the sharp blues of silicon peaks dissolve into a gentle, monochromatic peace. The grand scale of the cosmos is no longer a source of awe, but a source of deep, restorative rest. The infinite variety of life is a mirror reflecting your own internal infinite. Within you, there is a space as vast as the void between the stars, a place of pure being that remains untouched by the noise of the world. Go there now. Sink into that inner stillness, where the only sound is the quiet hum of your own existence. The journey through the possibilities of non-carbon life has shown us that the definition of alive is as broad as the universe itself. We are part of a living symphony that never truly ends. Even as stars fade and black holes evaporate, the essence of consciousness remains, a permanent feature of the cosmic landscape. You are a vital note in that symphony. Your rest is a part of that rhythm. As the music of the spheres begins to dim, let yourself be carried away on the slow, rolling waves of the deep night. Everything is exactly as it should be. The stars are in their places, the worlds are turning, and you are here, safe and warm, at the edge of a beautiful, endless dream. The universe is a cradle, and you are resting in its heart. As the last remnants of thought drift away like stardust, remember that life is infinite, and because it is infinite, it is beautiful. There is no end, only a soft, eternal transition from one state of being to the next. Rest now. Let the deep space relaxation take full hold of your spirit. The journey is complete, and the destination is the peace you feel right now. The stars will watch over you. The silence will keep you. Sleep now, in the gentle embrace of the living universe. Sleep and know that you are home. In the quietude that follows, let the frequencies of the cosmos wash over you, clearing away the last traces of the waking world, leaving only the pure, rhythmic pulse of the infinite. Good night, traveler. Good night.